Thank you for picking up the Sticks. This is episode 91, Sticks Gaming Podcast. I am Mike Hurnett. To my right, Mike Stick Carnia.
What's going on?
To my left, Art, real life, full motion video, Rosian. He's so real. I say that because I've been playing some full motion videos recently. I know.
Look at that.
You can see like the choices around his head. I swiped to left to make him go left.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've
So instead of Erica, Art.
yeah, Art.
I don't know what's going on here. I've been called a name. I've been touched. I've been here for like 5 minutes.
Have you ever played a full motion video game?
Yeah, you made me play Night Trap.
That's right.
No, you don't play that game. You experience it. But
That's true.
Is that the only one you've ever played?
Possibly.
God, I've played a stupid amount of them. Like, it's stupid how much I played. And I'll talk about some stupid ones here in a minute.
Those are your favorite for sure.
They're not my favorite,
No, it's
but I
pretty-
always,
well,
I
you
just
seem
like,
to be.
I always just, I don't know. It's like a trap. Like, I don't know why I just find myself always like, it's $5, or you know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be the good one.
Oh my.
Did you see that new one that they're doing physical version of, the double switch?
Oh, that's an old one.
Well, no, I know it's old, but I mean, but they're doing like that limited run or whatever version of it now. Yeah. Re-release.
I have my limits. I don't know if I can do that. Yeah. So it's probably gonna be shorty today. However, we just today, well, a couple days ago. I don't know how time works. If you look at our,
This past Wednesday.
yeah, if you're usually an audio listener, if you go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/sticksgamingvids, you can see a review of Little Town Hero that Steak did. Full disclosure, we were given that code by
Rainy Frog.
Rainy Frog, who is, I guess, our PR company for Game Freak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we got a chance. So Steak got a chance to actually play a game pre-launch and put a review up on day of embargo. That's super exciting.
Awesome. That was pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. It was really neat, and also being like the Game Freak too. Like,
Yeah.
a game too. It's like, oh, this is pretty awesome. So, and I mean, quickly it's fun.
Yeah, well, they they asked us, like, tell us, what was it again? What was it again?
Rainy Frog.
Rainy Frog asked us, like, tell us about yourself. And ultimately I said, like, listen, like, the way we do it is like we usually, if the 3 or 4 times we've ever gotten a code, is like we get it to the person who's most likely, the best suited for it. And there's no doubt in our mind that you're the best suited for this thing, for the Pokemon and just the gameplay itself and everything like that. So yeah, go to again, youtube.com/sticksgamingvids, and you can look up the review of Little Town Hero there. But first, outside of that, Steak, what you playing?
Not a lot.
Just that.
Yeah.
A lot of Little Town Hero.
I would say a lot of Little Town Hero. Yeah, that game took go watch the review, but the game took me about 20 hours total. So, but before we got that code in, I was trucking along in Ni no Kuni on the Switch. About 7 hours or so into that now. So that game is it's so much fun, and it's that was mine.
$5.
Yeah.
We could buy so much stuff if we actually put it in a bin.
Yeah, so we actually did this.
You get
pot thing,
you get the pot. You get that. I'll get the swear jar because I've been trying not to swear in this thing for a long time now.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's the game that, if you don't know, that's the game that looks like a Studio Ghibli game, a movie, and it looks so good.
Well, that one was actually. Didn't they help, or like didn't they have something to do with like the actual production of the game?
Yeah,
okay.
mm-hmm, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it just looks so good. It looks so good. It's awesome. All the answers, everything, and it's a lot. It's very enjoyable. I have had one crash on me. I heard that was a problem with the Switch version. Is here and there you'll get a crash. So being a long RPG like that, I make sure I'm trying to save as much as possible because last thing you want to lose an hour of progress. Another thing I did pick up and just started playing today, I picked up The Witcher 3 for the Switch.
Oh, get the Switcher?
Yeah, I got the Switcher 3. Honestly, it's pretty impressive. I mean, this is a monstrous game, and it's all on one little cartridge, 32 gigs. So it's the bigger cartridge. Mm-hmm. The cutscenes and everything look really well. There's frame rate drops, of course, whatever. And then the gameplay itself, it's a little muddy, and textures aren't necessarily there and stuff, but it still looks fine.
I think it's a magic trick that you can make it fit on a cartridge to begin with. So like,
right, exactly.
Making it dumbed down a little bit is that's a Nintendo staple from back in the day. Like they get like the muddied version of whatever game that has been on other consoles.
Mm-hmm. So so far, like I said, I'm only like a couple hours in, but it works. So and
We got about 280 more to go.
Oh
so.
yeah. And if I was ever gonna play it, this was gonna be it. So and then the last thing I was been playing before all that game called Indivisible. So this is a 2D action RPG. It was published by 505 Games.
Okay.
It was made by Lab Zero Games. I think it's some of the same people from the Skullgirls game.
Okay.
From back on the last generation. So it's kind of got like that 2D art style, painted art style. And all the reviews for it were pretty like awesome. So I was like, okay, well, it was $40. So I was like, all right, I'll give this a try. And so far, I'm really digging it. It's tough. It's a little tough. The way the gameplay works is it's an action RPG, but it's like a turn-based action.
Okay.
Kind of thing, which is kind of hard to explain. But go check out videos of it. It'll make a lot more sense, obviously. So far it's pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, that was the game, and like I said, that was the other game I dropped the minute we got the code. So, I'm really looking forward actually though to get back into that because I was really enjoying it.
Nice. That's the end of your list.
Yep.
Arts.
Yo,
What you playing?
the huge,
The huge.
meaning not much.
So Rainbow Six and Borderlands.
I platinum
Madden?
Borderlands.
Hey, congratulations! So you're done playing that game
Like,
forever?
No, not forever. So I'm probably done playing it until the story DLC comes out.
Okay. Is there a roadmap for that yet, or is it just assumed that it's going to happen?
They have some like Halloween content coming out soon.
Yeah.
I
that's
really
right.
don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
I saw that game already on sale for $30 on Amazon.
Oh,
There was a couple games already on sale today for like $33, and that was on there. Control was on there.
Yeah.
There was a couple other ones too.
Oh, real quick control update while you bring it up, because I see my one and only ever
Thought you weren't
post.
touching it until DLC.
I'm not, but my one and only ever post I've ever posted to Reddit was to like on the control like forum. Like,
Right.
What is this? What's going on? Like I captured a video and put it up, and like now I got someone else who has the same problem as me, so I'm not alone
Nice.
or crazy. Because that was also
2 out of the however many
I know.
100,000s or millions of units were sold.
I don't want to say every single time I boot up my PlayStation, but like every 3 or 4 times, I'll like go over to control and see if there's an update there. They haven't updated that thing in weeks either, so
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm sorry I brought it up.
I brought it up, but
You know what's gonna be awesome when I buy it for $20 on Black Friday
know.
and I beat it before you
I
get
know.
back to it.
I know.
I bought the game cheap for PC. I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. It's one of those things like it's there and I want to play it, and I'm like, I don't want to get that invested in something right now.
It was crazy too. Like I was looking at my trophy list because I'm really really close to getting to the next level of trophies, which just matters to me for some reason. But like I got like 35% of the trophies already in that game.
Oh, wow.
So like,
So you're making good progress, yeah.
Anyways,
anyway.
yeah, Platinum Borderlands. Like I said, probably done with that until story DLC comes out. I'm not really interested. This week, or the past couple of weeks, they're doing like special events that I'm really not interested in. I think last week was like higher rarity loot drops, and of the weapons in the game, I think I already have like all the best weapons for my build out. This week, it's like more iridium. Iridium's mostly I use to play slot machines. I have plenty of iridium.
I say it seems like that's kind of like what games do now, though. Stuff like this to keep it relevant. Like that just like when it's not ready
Little
for
events,
story.
yeah.
They're like, oh, here's this little event for the next couple of weeks. Come back and play for this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Get the spooky
and it's
gun.
like they have the Halloween thing coming up, and it's just going to be a bunch of like reskinned enemies and
Yeah, right.
reskinned environments and stuff. So I've put however much time into that game. I'm okay to step away for a little bit here and do some other things. Jump back into Madden. Started a franchise with the Raiders. Just gutted that team.
Well done.
Don't do what I did. I was just explaining this to State before you got here. I just banked a bunch of draft picks for a season, so I had 3 number 1s, 3 2s, 3 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, a 6, and a 7.
Yeah.
So the way the salary cap works is like they slot, how much money each person's going to make in a draft pick. So when I was come free agency time, I only had $30,000 at the beginning of cap room because I had so much room allocated for all those draft picks.
So what I did was, I started out the first season, traded a bunch of players away. I traded away Derek Carr because he's a trash quarterback. Traded him to the Dolphins and ended up getting the number 1 pick overall. The number 1 pick overall was my doing because my team was so terrible. I had a quarterback.
So you got 1 and 2?
No, I had 1-7, which was the Dolphins pick, and then the Bears pick, which was like 25 or something.
Okay.
Optimistic.
Yeah, I traded him away. Made a bunch of other moves, but I had plenty of cap space going into free agency. And I signed a defense and, of course, Josh Gordon.
Dude, isn't free agency just so much better when you're playing with the actual teams as opposed to
Yes.
like the fantasy draft?
Well,
It's
I'm
unbelievably
telling
better.
you, when you do the fantasy draft, I think they like reset everyone's contracts.
I hate that.
Which
I hate it.
I would rather it be the old way in the fantasy draft where it's like, hey, okay, you can draft this guy. Here's his cap number. He has his real life contract, and like that. Yeah, this is much better. But yeah, I simulated the whole first season, did the draft, did free agency, and now I'm playing through the second season. But like, I'm limiting what I'm playing because I don't want to just blow through and be like, I'm 16-0 and outscored everyone by 45 points. So like,
That's what I did.
I'm only playing offense on road games.
Okay.
So, I mean, my team is still middle of the road even after all my drafting and free agency stuff. And my team right now, I think, is 6-4.
Okay.
And I think that the division leader is 7-3. So,
I'm at the point where I think I might go full commissioner and not actually play any games. Like I did that last year where I just
we're a lot about just sitting.
Yeah, I would go week by week. I would go after the game was over. I'd go in to actually look at the stats, see who's doing what, and kind of just see and then draft and.
Or go through and just play coach. Just call the plays and let the computer run them.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Interesting.
So yeah,
Infuriating.
he was wide open. The guy I drafted with the number 1 pick as a receiver, and he's really good.
Dude, yeah.
Anyways, nobody cares about sports.
It's our goddamn podcast. Dollar in the swear jar.
Played some more Rainbow Six. It's Rainbow Six.
Yeah, but
A challenge to play that game. So it's a game that relies a lot on communication. If you're playing with people. When you have bronchitis and you can't stop coughing, and you have a headset with a boom mic, and you're lowering and raising to keep talking and not cough in everyone's ear, it gives you an added degree of difficulty.
Yeah, I could see that.
Outside of that, I bought the Ghostbusters remaster.
Nice.
I played about an hour of that. When does it get good?
What's your problem with it before I?
Well, okay, so like going into it, I heard like everyone like this is what if there's a third one, this is what it should have been.
Yeah.
Right.
An hour and I'm still at the fucking Sedgwick Hotel.
Oh, yeah,
chasing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man Slimer. Like, I saw this shit 30 years ago.
After that, I think you go to the firehouse. After the firehouse, you get into the actual like new stuff. So
I played in like an hour. I'm like, this just isn't doing it for me. And then I have been like playing Madden and keep getting interrupted, and so I'll get back to it because I paid fucking what was it, $30 or whatever for it.
Yeah.
Okay, knowing that it does actually change will help me get back in.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would say if it's just going through like rehashing all the old crap from the first movie, I'm like, I can watch the movie in less time and enjoy it more.
Yeah, no, like I get that makes sense. I mean, fan service to begin it, like, hey, this is the game you've been waiting for.
Yeah,
Here's
right.
a little fan service to start, and now, okay, here we go. Now, right?
It's one of those things like it may not have bothered me if I hadn't been hearing for years. This is what the third movie should have been.
Yeah.
The third movie should be chasing Slimer in the Sedgwick Hotel again.
No.
Ballroom.
No,
they wouldn't let me shoot the chandelier for Christ's sakes.
I tried to do that too. Stick with it. It'll be fine.
Okay. That's it though.
That's it. All right.
I was gonna play the Outer Worlds, but my Xbox decided to go just completely stupid and not it downloaded and installed 38% of it. And I'm like, okay, well, it's installing. It's at 30%. I'm gonna go do something else.
Can you play it now?
I think so.
I think you just pre-download.
Preload it.
Preload, yeah.
You can just preload it right now.
You sure?
Yeah,
No.
it's the 20. It's out the 25th.
You positive?
No.
It's on my new release list.
All right. It's infallible. All right.
But anyways, I was watching it. It installed the 38%. I fired it back up today, and an Apex Legends update's installing. I'm like, oh, Outer Worlds. It's not on my game list. Where is it? Click on it. Oh, you want to install this? Here, let us continue installing.
I never told you to stop.
Now I'm done.
All right. So, all right. I got a few things on here. So, I don't know. Organize these. Let's do this first. So, randomly, Lucy was talking about wanting to play a Stranger Things game. I was like, why don't you just say that? It exists, and it's on sale this week, so I bought it.
Nice.
So we played only through the first section of it. It's like it is such a classic licensed game from like the Super Nintendo era, whereas like they take the first 5 minutes of the first episode and make it last like an hour and a half long because you gotta like really stretch it out and really expand on it. But it's a 16-bit. It's like a beat 'em up. So like you have, so far in my party, I only got basically I got 3 of the 4 kids. I don't have Will right now, but I have 3 kids. We just started playing it, and you get you can dodge or you can block. You have each guy's an attack. Like Mike has a bat, Lucas has his slingshot, Dustin has like a spray can, like when you spray Lucas at the beginning of episode 1 of season 3, and then they have like a super attack, like like for Lucas, like his thing off his slingshot explodes, and then you would use that to get by rocks so you can get into the next section of the level. But it's neat. It's totally just a fun thing to do. You get to move from different areas of Hawkins and do things like that. But it's like a classically licensed game, which is kind of just doesn't really exist anymore. So it's kind of kitschy that way. And Stranger Things is fun. Next, so I finished the Shape-Shifting Detective, one of the full motion video games I'm talking about today.
Oh, that's right.
So this one is
Some people really enjoy the food at White Castles. Mike enjoys full motion video games.
I don't know why. I should really go back and like chronicle the ones I've played. I'm pretty sure I can. I don't know if I want to say the upper echelon of that, or just like the biggest sucker or whatever. But anyway, so
you're the whale in the world of FMV.
I really am, because these are all these are all the most recent ones are all by a company called Wales Interactive, and they make this type of game and VR games. That's it. That's all they make. Anyway, so you know when I usually talk about full motion video games, when I say this is fine. This one's not fine. It's not fine at all. You play as a detective that can shapeshift, oddly enough, and the way when you first talk to a person, now you can.
It's not just a clever name.
No, it's not. So you can actually shapeshift into that person then. So you have a list of people you can talk to, and then you would go back, and the whole thing happens like in a hotel. So like you go into a hotel, into your room, and you can shapeshift in any of those people. So like I can talk to person 1. Person 1 says, person 2, said this about you, and then I would come back as person 2 and say like, hey, I heard that you said this about me, and then you can interact that way. So you kind of get like both ends of a conversation, because you can. I would go to person 1 as person 2, then person 2 as person 1, back and forth like that. But the story's a complete mess. It is a wreck and a half. All of a sudden it's like, all right, pick the killer. I'm like,
Colonel Mustard.
That one, and I was right.
Hey.
And I slowly went off of, well, that girl was the killer in the last game I played, and it's the same actress. So I've seen her in like the loading screen with a gun in her hand, and she hasn't had a gun in her hand yet. So I bet it's her, and I was right. So I got like the good ending, for whatever that's worth. It's a slog. It's not interesting. The story is garbage, and the plot makes no sense, and it's a mess. Cannot. Oh, and it crashes all the time.
Oh, awesome.
It goes like
that's
from
great.
like the moment of crashing to back into the game really only takes a minute, because like that's how quickly it loads into the game, and like right where it picks up right where you left off.
Sure.
But still, just like fuck. It's like six or seven times in a 2-hour game, or six or 2 or 3 hour game, whatever it is. It's just ridiculous. That one's just no good. Don't recommend. Late Shift is still the gold standard of full motion video games on the PlayStation 4 anyway.
You should have been able to, shapeshift into like a mosquito, and then the game just turns into Mr. Mosquito from the PS2 era.
That one definitely sucks. So,
and then they just make it a little more humorous.
So bad. Next full motion video game. You mentioned Erica earlier. I played all the way through Erica, actually twice.
Oh.
So I did like that one enough to play through it twice. This one is a, I don't know. I mean, it's a Sony exclusive, I think.
I think it's a PlayStation exclusive.
It got shadow dropped during the Gamescom earlier this year. It's $10. It is definitely the most polished FMV game I've ever played in terms of just like quality of the video and like the quality of the gameplay. You can play on your phone with like an app, because like there's like little cursors you can move around with like moving the phone. And then there's motions like one of the first things you do is like you turn on a lighter. So you got to swipe over to open up the lighter. You swipe down to like flick the flint and do things like that. But you can also play on the PS4 touchpad, which actually works really well too. So I did both of those. The main story is you're Erica, and your father. You come across your father who was killed, and he has like this carved symbol in his chest. And that was when you were a little girl. Now you're grown up and you're trying to basically, and someone else has died with the same symbol. So the police are starting to ask you more questions to try to figure out what's going on with these new murders along with the old murders. Your father and his business partner opened up a school for troubled girls. But it's like mental issues. Like they have one who's like super like who will like this she will freak out at the drop of a hat, things like that. Anyway, and the main crux of the story is you're trying to figure out who this killer is, and also what happened to your dad and what's going on with this institute, because obviously things are kind of weird there too. It's 2 hours long to finish it. The first ending I got the happy ending the first time, and then I made my way into the unhappy ending the second time.
Nice.
But I guess there's but like those paths were very different.
Yeah.
So like these games all kind of do the same thing. They have point one, they spread out, get to a main point, and then the endings, you know, based on a couple of decisions. And that was it was very similar to that. Like my trip from point A to point B was very different, but I still got to point B. And then I feel like I could have made any of the other choices anyway at point B. I just wouldn't have gotten, I wouldn't have saved other people. I would have gotten the right ending. I would have gotten this and that. And at the very end of the game, they give you there's 4 bullet points and kind of like breaks down like Erica did this, her mother was this, the institute was this. So like it kind of breaks down how your story unfolded as you went along. It's $10. It's different. It's unique. I'll wait for a sale. But I said I'd like enough to play through it twice, so that should say something about it.
How long was it?
Like about 2-ish hours. So it really wasn't all that long. And like I said, I knew that some of the choices up front I knew I was going to change.
Was the second playthrough just because you wanted to see a different ending?
Yeah, totally.
Why not just YouTube it?
Because like I said, that point A to point B is about an hour and a half different, and my hour and a half and then between it was very different.
Okay, so you wanted to see all the different stuff in the middle too. Then.
Exactly,
okay.
and like honestly, like if I would have YouTubed it would have taken me just as long anyway, because if I'm watching that much
watch
extra
someone
video,
doing it, right? Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
I might as well just play it and get more trophies.
It seemed like that game had some interesting aspects of it, like pulling a ribbon and stuff like that, to kind of like different, like just different aspects. Like, and that's kind of cool, like a little more FMV, but it's interactive. So
and the way when they did motion, whether it be like the pulling the ribbon or opening a door, or opening boxes or whatever it was, it would switch into almost like a stop motion video type of a thing. So it had like a little bit of a eerie quirk to it when it was moving.
Okay.
So like it's hard to explain without actually seeing it, but like if you've seen like the best way I can think of it is like old music videos that did stop motion stuff and like things would be moving when they're not supposed to be moving. But it would really move with your touchpad along the way too. Like I said, it was very polished in terms of like the mechanics and the video quality and things like that. I think the story made a lot more sense in the good ending, because I think it got more pieces of the story, and I think that's what allowed me to get the good ending, because I found out more things. When the bad ending, I just kind of like I was probably mowing through it, but B, I definitely was just like, oh, that's very convenient for this to happen.
Yeah.
So for me to get to point B. So that's Erica. Like I said, wait for a sale, but it's totally worth it. Finished Gears 5.
nice.
Really enjoyed it. Like I said last time too, like once the game kind of opens up and you get to play as Kate, it's far more enjoyable than the first chapter. Like Act 2, 3, and 4, I like significantly better than the first one, just because it felt like a newer game, where the Chapter 1 just felt like it could have been, you could throw it in any Gears game and I wouldn't have noticed the difference.
Right.
Open world stuff I totally dug. The side mission stuff I thought was neat, and like I said, very fruitful. Jack was awesome by the time that game ended, all those things I could do with him. But overall, I feel like it's like massive fight. Man, everything sucks. Now we gotta get them. Credits. Like, I was kind of for something a little more definitive,
Sure.
like ending wise. But they gotta make more games. I understand that too. Something super surprising happened in the story. like I thought that they gave you and you got a choice along the way. It was like save person A or save person B, and I figured like I'm probably gonna be they'll both be fine.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Immediately they were not fine. So yeah, there was that and the choice I ended up making was literally just to see characters' reactions, like not for anything else outside that. I just wanted to see how the other characters would react if that person didn't come back. And it honestly made it. I can't imagine the story having any other real weight outside of that. So I feel like that choice like it gave the story more. It gave it definitely more, like I said, more weight to it and gave it a bigger impact as opposed to picking the other person. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the other person did. So I don't know. Yeah, so Gears 5 it's more Gears in a very good way. And like I said, that's without playing all the other modes yet. I didn't play anything else in terms of the escape or the horde or anything like that. But just story alone, it was totally worth it.
Nice.
I
gotta get back to that.
Last but definitely not least, I played all the way through Blair Witch.
I
played it on. It was part of the Xbox Game Pass. Played all the way through it. It's really good. Really, really good. It definitely feels like a mid-tier game in terms of just like the graphics and things like that. I would have loved for a AAA publisher to put like their level of polish and like tech and money behind it, just because I think that would have just been even more immersive. But like you definitely feel like you're lost in the woods because the game starts when you go out. The game starts. You're going into the woods to find this kid who's missing, and you're getting some kind of hints that like you kind of know this kid. You definitely know the police that work in this town. You go to the same. It basically happens, I think, 2 years after the Blair Witch movie, and you're in the same exact woods. So they're like, "Did you go to that? Did you go to the house? Because that's where all the kids are now." Like, yeah, we went to the house. No one was there. It was like, the house from the first movie. And you really feel like you're lost in the woods for a lot of that, and some of that supernatural stuff. Some of it's just like it's just woods as far as I can see, and the way you navigate because there's very little HUD. Is you have your dog companion, Bullet. And this is like top 5 dogs. Top 5 dogs of all time in video games is Bullet. He is super helpful. Wow. He's super useful. That's
a video.
And you can, that's 100% a video. That could be your next topic. So like you give him commands like, hey, seek it out, and he'll like bring collectibles back to you. So I mean, that's nice and helpful for one, just things like that. Or seek it out and like he'll find a trail. Like I found one of the first things you find is a kid's hat. He's a sniffing dog. He's a police dog, and he sniffs the hat, and then you can know which way to go. Like you have like this kind of open wooded area that you don't know really what you're looking for, and you're trying to find something in the area, and you end up finding the hat, and the hat guides you to the next room or next area of the forest. And like I would have never have gotten to the next section if I didn't find that I didn't have that dog. Like period. I wouldn't have found that. The dog is very realistic too. Like he'll just kind of sit and lay down. He'll just sneeze, out of nowhere and stuff like that. Like he'll kind of whine at times.
That jump scare.
Yeah,
like, oh God, I wasn't ready for that.
and you can pet the dog. You can scold the dog.
What?
You can scold the dog. And
tell me you scolded that dog.
I never scolded the dog.
I'll slap the shit
Not
out of
once.
you right
I had 3 treats. I gave him all 3 treats.
Right away.
I pet him. I pet him as much as I could. Every time he did something good, I gave him a pet. And it turns out, I'm not going to spoil the endings, but there's 4 different endings. 2 of them are very similar to each other with like a small variant at the end of it, and a lot of it has to do with how you treat the dog.
Interesting.
I would rock at this game then.
There's 2 things: is how you treat the dog and how you. Well,
find the kids? No. I just petted a dog for 12 hours.
Game of the year. But like he's also very useful in combat because you kind of every once in a while you get to these areas and these shadow monsters. Like you don't really get a good look at them, so you don't. I think they're like shadowy monsters, and you have a flashlight, very Alan Wake style, where you're trying to you're trying to flashlight at them, and you have no idea where they're at. The only way you know what they're at is the dog is like pointing and growling in an area, so you have to kind of. So I'm like behind the dog and like moving like this, trying to find them, and these things are whipping all over the place. So sometimes the dog is like. Kind of over there, I'm like, oh crap! I gotta find the dog, see where he's pointing, point the flashlight, and these noises, and it's very hectic when you're being attacked and you don't have much to defend yourself with.
Right.
But there's a lot to this game I really liked in not only just the mechanics, but like the story was really great too in terms of just like constantly giving you extra pieces of information on who you are, the character. More details on your relationship to the kid. More just talking about Burkittsville, I think, was the forest and like the more lore in that town and things like that. But man, it's there's and you have so little with you. You have a flashlight, you have a camcorder. The camcorder you can use for like infrareds from time to time too, which you have to do in some areas. Like where you can't really see the bad guys, you gotta find out with the infrareds. You find black videotapes that give you story, and you find red videotapes that actually you can go forward and backward, and then manipulate the real world. So like in one of the red tapes, there's a tree that fell down to block my way. So I found the red tape, I rewound the tape, the tree went back up, and I could pass. So there's that. There's a radio that you're constantly talking to the police chief and other people you meet. You have a cell phone. It's a straight up 1993 Nokia cell phone that has a full working snake on it, by the way.
Nice.
I was just saying, is that
nice.
Snake
That's
on there,
awesome.
100%.
That's awesome.
How much time did you spend playing Snake?
I found it late and it was dark, so I need to get my flashlight out. But like the phone, like you can make calls, receive text messages, get voicemails, and then that's one of those things that messes with you. So you get like calls from like your ex-girlfriend. You can call the pizza place. You can get text messages.
You have pizza in the woods.
You can literally you can prank call the pizza place. So there's that aspect of it. So there's a lot of things in there, and it's like I said, there's no HUD because I mean you don't really have health, you don't have bullets or anything like that. So there's not a whole lot going on the screen either. And but man, it is a freaky game too. Obviously, I mean it's a Blair Witch game, but there is just a very lonely feeling the entire time I'm playing that game, and like it's like I'm just like. One of the commands for my dog is stay close, and that wasn't for the dog; that was for me. You know what I mean? I want the dog to stay close as much as possible. My only complaint about the game is the ending takes forever. Like I thought the game was ending for like 2 hours, and like you're in this last location. I was just like, oh my god! Like when will it end? I definitely I think I would equate it to the third worst ending out of the 4. Oh, there's really 5. There's 4 endings, and then you can go back in for a second playthrough and get a 5th one.
Okay.
So out of the 4 endings I could have gotten, I think I got the third worst one. Because I actually looked all these up. I YouTubed these. I was really curious how the other ones were, and then I looked up how like you get them. So at the beginning of the game, they talk about like your actions and your emotions and how you treat people. Really, change the way the game is, and they were really what they're talking about is the ending. The way you get like the good ending, I would have never have thought to do what I needed to do, and the reason I got the bad ending makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, okay, I earned this fate. But man, like Game Pass is amazing. Like between, like I said, I just talked about 2 games that I don't know if I would have ever. I probably would have bought Gears. I would have bought Gears. I don't know if I ever would have played Blair Witch ever.
Right.
It's like a 5.5, 6 hour game depending on how much you want to roam around. But man, it is really good.
Nice.
I really, really recommend people playing it, and it's really up in that upper echelon of like just like atmospherically just not comfortable to play games, which is kind of fun, especially the spooky time of season.
I've been waiting to have a night that I can play it. I want to play it at night.
It's
very headphones on. All that good stuff. Absolutely.
They recommend. They say like they give like the recommendation that like this is like optimized for 360 audio.
Right.
It's not quite the level of audio of like Hellblade. It's not anywhere near that in terms of just like the overall complexity of the audio happening in that game. But I take some cues from there in terms of just like sounds you hear and just like things creeping around you and just taking all that in the setting of being in the woods essentially by yourself in the dark is just miserable and made for a really cool experience. So I fully recommend Blair Witch, and I've officially talked long enough on my What You Playing. So Steak, what comes out the next couple of weeks?
All right. On October 22nd, WWE 2K20 for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Doesn't have GM mode.
I bought last year's. I fully enjoyed last year's, but I'm totally good until they have GM mode. I totally agree with you.
If it had GM mode, I'd buy it.
That'd be so
Flat out.
fun.
Yeah.
So stupid
be
they don't
neat.
have it. Anyway.
Yeah. On October 25th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Got mine pre-ordered today.
I pre-ordered it last week or whatever. I think I came to the conclusion that once my Gamers Club Unlock goes away, I'll probably be the end of me pre-ordering games. Might be the end of me getting physical games.
I can totally see that. I mean, and with that, like I pre-ordered it because I was telling Steak, GameStop's doing like an extra 30% trade in, so I had some stuff I traded in, and I've got it fully paid off.
I pre-ordered because Best Buy had the 10% gift card with it if you pre-order, and I had the $10 gift card, or $10, not 10%. I had a $10 gift card from pre-ordering Borderlands, so that knocked it down after Gamers Club to $38.
Yep.
Plus tax, plus I'll get a $10 gift card.
Hell yeah.
But
why would you not? But no, I totally I'm ready to embrace my all digital future.
I wasn't, and I started thinking about it while I was driving over here. I'm like, once this runs out, that may be the end for me in physical games.
Like honestly, too. Like I know this is stupidly lazy of me, but like recently, now that I've played all these
I
games,
enjoy not having to get up and change a disc.
Yeah.
I'm way more likely to be
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna play that game right now.
Yeah.
If I don't have to like A, install it, or B, like
I bought
get up.
I
Yeah.
bought Rainbow Six
Yeah.
for a third time, so I wouldn't have to change the disc.
No, I don't disagree with
Yeah.
that because, because especially on my Xbox, because most of mine are through Game Pass that I have on my Xbox.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so like just jumping between games is so nice and easy. But I mean, yeah, when my Gamers Club's done in March, but Amazon and Walmart have been doing the $10 off still the physical stuff. So it's like, all right, well at least that's still an option though. It's still there. Also on October 25th, Medieval for PS4. Also on October 25th, The Outer Worlds for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Oh, that was good. Like it's the game I kind of thought I never knew I wanted. It's like a massive Skyrim-esque RPG in a 20-hour time span. Like that's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Hopefully it's good.
And on October 29th, After Party for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Excited for that one. That's
That
totally,
looks so much fun.
yeah. That's
The premise of it's amazing.
yeah. When I heard someone talk about Doom got delayed, and I was just like, all right, well, After Party's gonna be the best Hell game this year then for sure.
Yeah.
Extra.
It's time for the news.
News.
Which one do we want to do first?
Do that one first.
This one? All
Yeah,
right.
do that one first.
The one that has many layers and is way more complicated than I want to talk about on a gaming podcast.
We don't have to go that
We're not getting that far
We don't have
into
to go
it.
that deep into it.
So, where do I even start on this? There was a Hearthstone tournament, and at the person that won, his name is Blitz Chung. He's
This is a Christian name.
yeah. He apparently is from Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the tournament, they did an interview with him, and he in the interview he said, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our time." Blizzard apparently didn't appreciate that. They suspended him for a year, forced him to forfeit the prize money, and they fired the casters who were commenting on the interview.
Mm-hmm. Since then,
That led to a bit of backlash.
yeah.
just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Little bit of backlash. They've rolled it back. I think they said they're not taking his prize money.
Correct.
Him and the casters are both suspended for 6 months.
Yep.
And they claim that their reasoning behind it was they never want their events to be about anything but the game.
They don't want to upset the Chinese government who
allows
their game to be played
Yeah.
in their country by billions of people.
Oh, yeah. Lots of money.
But, okay, yes,
That's billions of people.
there's that aspect of
This
it.
is might be a billion people.
At the same time, the same shit happened with the NBA.
Yep.
GM of the Houston Rockets made he tweeted like "Free Hong Kong" or something.
Oh, yeah.
And this was while the NBA was over in China playing some exhibition games, which then were under threat of being canceled, and they were told they were going to lose their broadcasting agreement in China. And they ended up playing the games, but they weren't allowed to have any media access to teams or players or staff.
And they were
or
taking
anything.
down posters and painting over walls.
Yeah.
Like the Chinese
Yeah.
government ordered
Yep.
those things to happen.
And So yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on around this. Just strictly talking about the the Hearthstone thing extends further because in reaction to the initial suspension and prize stripping and firing announcements, a bunch of people started trying to delete their Blizzard accounts. To get to the point where Blizzard stopped letting people delete their accounts without calling a phone number to delete them.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have a launch party in New York at the Nintendo store for Overwatch.
Yep.
That's been canceled because
Yep.
I think planned protests.
Yep.
So people ain't happy.
No, and Blizzard then released a secondary statement talking about their views and things like that, and kind of doubling down on it, being like, we're still not gonna allow those things to happen in our tournaments and whatever. Blizzard's having a bad year.
With BlizzCon coming up in a couple
Right.
weeks too.
With BlizzCon coming up
man.
real soon, which is going to be super interesting. I mean, this is some bullshit. I'm sorry to our, I don't know if we have any viewers
Our
or
Chinese
in
bots.
Chinese, anyone who's listening to this.
Well, that was
in
Mexico
China.
bots we had.
Yeah, we did. But who won't be able to listen to us anymore. But yeah, that's
Whatever.
some straight up bullshit. It's not.
Here's my take on the whole thing. Yeah, there's a variety of different angles. Blizzard's a private company.
Yeah.
They can run their events the way they want to. So them saying they don't want people to say that, I'm fine with that. Them even, depending on how their contracts with their participants is laid out, I might be okay with them, banning the guy for a year or whatever. The prize money is a step too far. He was in the tournament. He didn't cheat. Give him his fucking money.
100%.
Right.
And
Yep.
Another aspect of it is you're a American and Canadian owned company. Freedom of speech and expression is a thing here, so go fuck yourselves, Blizzard.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about all the intricacies of what's going on between Hong Kong and China to be like, yeah, I'm pro Hong Kong, or no, China's right. I have no opinion on that really. But just the whole freedom of speech thing, no, we're gonna hardcore censor you, and we're gonna cater to our Chinese overlords. We're gonna cater to the communist dictatorship that's running China. I'm not okay with that.
right, because they along with Apple and McDonald's and NBA and all these other companies, massive organizations have been trying to break into the Chinese market for years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And now they're getting some headway in there, and this all happens. So they don't want to throw back, a decade's worth of progress.
Yep.
Towards their bottom line, because the Chinese market is the biggest market that that American companies can break into at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
For a revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
That all being said, you still can't, alienate fan bases, alienate, American rights and things like that at that cost. So, to someone we shouldn't, that we as a people don't owe anything to. I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it is a bad cross section of ethics and business. And we're not talking about a couple $100 here. We're talking about a massive amount of money.
Absolutely.
For all these companies. So I understand that, but I cannot possibly appreciate the stomping on somebody for saying what they believe, whether someone agrees with it or not. They still believe it, and I think that's their right to believe it.
Absolutely, and I think the thing with Blizzard, it's okay, now going forward, now this is part of their rule set of their events.
Mm-hmm.
Before I don't know if it was. I don't think it necessarily was. So it's okay, Blizzard, you might not agree with this, but you can't do anything about that then. It's not in your rule set saying all that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You said, like the suspensions or whatever. Okay, fine. I'm glad the guy took him from a year to 6 months at least. But if initially it's okay, hey, we don't want to do this, blah blah blah. Now, hey, going forward, now it's okay, no, any event going forward, if someone does that, it's still not necessarily the right thing, but Blizzard has now said this is what our events are. Let's keep them this way. We don't want this anymore. So it's okay. So going forward, it's okay, if you do something, then that is their regardless of how we all feel, but then you have to serve.
It's already happened.
But right now, though,
well, it's already happened since then. Where some at one of their
American,
collegiate tournament, they had someone hold up a sign.
American University hold up a sign, and they've been suspended for 6 months now because of that. Yeah.
So like, I mean, I don't know. Like at this point, they're gonna have to shut that down because I think it's only gonna get worse before it gets better in terms of just like more people like voicing their opinion. And I don't think at this point, and now it's not just gonna be solely in support of Hong Kong. It's gonna be in support of their fellow players who have been suspended and missed out. You know, I mean, they're getting the money back, but like it looks like they're dispensing the prizes now. But like, gaming community is what it is. Like when something like this happens, like they do rally, like gaming communities will rally.
Absolutely.
And Blizzard fans aren't quiet.
No.
So like I just foresee this just being a thing for them going forward in terms of this Hong Kong situation until that's just rectified too.
The fact that Blizzard's pushing back on it, like, no, you're not going to do this. It's just going to make the people who are opposed to them push even harder.
Right.
Be louder. There will be protests at BlizzCon.
And people who don't even really necessarily care about the Hong Kong Hong Kong conflict are going to be like, this is just not right. So they're getting it on multiple fronts. They're getting it for people who are with Hong Kong. They're getting it with people who are just thinking that this is not right. They're getting people who are on the sides of these players that have been suspended. It's a bad situation that Blizzard's not making any better.
It makes me very happy that I am not invested in any of their games.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to make the call whether I want to take a principled stand on this and not play their games or not.
I would say for me, it's the only game is Diablo, and that we'll see. We'll see. Things can change in the next. It's gonna be a long time before I have my Diablo 4, anyways. So things can change before that comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I was more like I was like watching a train wreck for BlizzCon this year already before this whole thing happened.
Before
after last year,
I know.
Everything went last year. I'm not really invested in any of those games either. Like I've enjoyed a few times. I played Diablo, and I don't know if I've ever played
I used to play Hearthstone quite a bit, and I enjoyed it.
I played Overwatch for a couple weeks.
So like
years ago,
yeah. So like I'm kind of the same boat. You don't really invest in anything, but like I was curious how this year's BlizzCon was going to go after last year's. Now I'm even more interested how it's going to go.
Oh, you damn
with
right!
all this nonsense.
I am watching that keynote for sure.
I was
going to watch it anyways, but I'm making sure I'm definitely going to check that out.
There's not a chance they're letting people. There's not a chance they're going to let people speak. There's not a chance they're going to take questions from a crowd.
They're not taking questions this year. That's for sure.
If they do, it'll be like submit your question online.
Yep.
We'll have a moderator read it.
Yep, exactly. And because I was already curious, because I have a feeling that since it's been dead silent on Diablo Immortal, that they were going to be releasing it, like shadow dropping it basically during BlizzCon, and so I was already waiting to see that shit show response. So now this is a new era,
whole new level of shit.
I bet you too, if they're streaming it on Twitch or something, they'll disable chat.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
They will. Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere where they're streaming it and there's chat involved, they will disable all those chats. Absolutely.
All
right. On to
something more
lighter
fun.
news.
Something way more fun.
Yeah. Sony out of the blue announced that PlayStation 5 is launching holiday 2020.
Happy Tuesday in October.
Yeah, it is the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Yep. And the name.
Yeah.
And everything too.
Good. I think I said it on a previous podcast. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they switched it into something different, but I'm very glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I thought at most they would change it to like PlayStation V.
PlayStation V.
PSV.
The only thing they really announced hardware-wise is changes to the controller. Some changes to the controller. Haptic feedback is replacing the Rumble technology.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a different type of vibration.
Yeah, whatever.
I was gonna say it's basically like the force triggers on the Xbox controller that only Forza used, which was amazing the way they used it, but no one else used it. And just like HD Rumble on this Nintendo Switch, that technically is gone now because only a couple developers actually use it, and the Lite doesn't even have that. So
honestly, like I don't even I don't know if I'm just like numb to like the controller vibrating at this point, but I very rarely ever like notice it happening.
Every once in a blue moon, I'm like, oh, yeah, like it must be a little stronger than usual, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it. Like, yeah, I agree though.
I'm fully desensitized to it.
Realize it normally.
Well, it's everything you play. Instead of having like a vibration be like, oh, there was like you crashed into a wall hard or something, that it vibrates. It's like it vibrates for everything.
Yeah, right.
You're driving a car. Here, feel the rumble
Yeah,
of the road.
Like I said, Forza, it did it fairly well on the triggers, but that, like I said, that was like the only game where I noticed it, and it was like, okay, this is kind of neat. And
Yeah.
that was
But
it.
if that's going to be on PlayStation and Xbox now, I wouldn't be surprised to see more games.
I hope
use
so. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, but like I said, Switch did it too, and no one
But
did anything
when,
about it.
When Xbox announced the triggers, the big thing they announced was, like if you're firing a gun, it'll feel like an actual trigger pull.
Right.
I'm curious to see if that's going to be more used now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did talk about the what do they call it? Adaptive
triggers. Yeah.
So that's
Developers can
that's
program the
interesting.
resistance to the trigger so you feel the tactile sensation of drawing a bow or an arrow or accelerating an off-road vehicle through rocky terrain.
That's interesting. I'm assuming you can also turn it off because I'm not sure. Some
I
people aren't
was-
going to want to do that.
Absolutely, I would assume so.
But I think it's kind of cool that when it'll feel different based on what you have in your character's
If
hands.
someone uses it and it works,
I
cool.
think
Yeah.
if they can get a FPS game to feel like an actual gun trigger, that'd be pretty cool.
And like a different gun trigger for a shotgun and
Right.
and
Well,
a
not only
machine
Horizon Zero
gun.
Dawn 2, where you're pulling back the bow, the resistance.
God, make that game.
Oh, you know,
They are.
They are. It's
Let me know
PS5.
you're making that
They're
game.
making it.
Mike, I'm letting you know. They're making
Yeah. 2021. I guarantee it. 2021.
We gotta-
launch.
I doubt it.
I don't know. I
don't know.
That came out 2 years ago.
I know, but I don't know.
I
Because they did that with Killzone was a launch out for PS4, but that did not do so well. So I don't know
Right.
if they want to try that again.
Oh, man, but Horizon, and Killzone and Horizon, I think are different levels of IPs at this point. I mean, only
Sure.
one game in Horizon. I would not be at all surprised to see it in that launch window of the PS5. Anyway,
That's all I got.
that's kind of all the news. The other thing that they talked about, they said they handed them the prototype controller, and he said it looked a lot like a PS4 controller. There was a little hole on it that looked like a microphone.
Yep.
Because there was a patent that came out, whenever it came out, talked about how they're going to be doing more voice recognition for a PlayStation console in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume that's going to be like my Roku or my TV
Right.
or
Right.
Xfinity remote or whatever what it is. Where it's just go to Horizon Zero Dawn 2. This is a real thing that's happening. And then there would probably be either a button or you hold down the PlayStation button to make the listen to you and go do whatever you want to do. I assume that's what that is. But that's really
It's
all,
always listening.
but I assume that's really all they kind of mentioned. They also
And
talked
the bigger
about
battery.
and the
They-
bigger
They said
battery.
it is a little heavier.
A little heavier.
Because there's a bigger
Can I
battery. in
turn
there.
off the fucking light?
not as heavy as the Xbox One controller with batteries in it, is what they said.
Right.
Which whatever.
Which
that means.
whatever. I don't know. That's- I like the weight of. I like having weight in my
Right,
controller.
Yeah.
and they said, and they said that the dev kit looked like some of the schematics that kind of leaked recently, like that V-looking
Yeah.
thing. Which I mean, dev kits always look
Dev kits are not
wildly
that doesn't-
different.
Right. I was gonna say, that means nothing.
If that's the design the system needs to have to run well and get proper cooling, I'm fine with it.
I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah,
don't-
I see the front of it, and that's all I see. And I
mean,
hope,
that's
I hope to not interact with it ever.
I mean, that's back with the PS4 came out and they showed it off for the where they announced the PS4, they announced everything. They didn't show the box and everyone freaked out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I want to see what the console is going to look like, but at the same time, I don't give a shit what it looks like because I'm buying it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, I'm
I'm
not-
not going to buy it because I mean the Xbox One looked like a freaking VCR and it was giant and huge and I still bought it.
Ooh, look,
Does it come in black? That's all I care about.
like, ooh, look at that box. I'm gonna buy it now. I'm like, no one cares.
I'm 98% sure it'll be black.
Oh yes, it'll be black, and it'll be massive. Is my prediction.
It's fine. I don't care.
Actually, I take that back because the Xbox
long
One
as-
X is somehow smaller than the S.
As
The
long as
X, everything in that X is amazing. Like I wish we can get the version 1 of consoles to be that size. Like, because that is amazing. Like the what is in that X is incredible, and that size and everything. Because like the Pro
Yeah.
is just so stupidly huge.
Yeah, it's
And
they
thick.
they super glued 2 PlayStation 4s together. Yeah, there it is, perfect.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
as a fan, it sounds like a jet engine taking off.
I actually don't have that problem yet.
I didn't for the longest time. I'm noticing it recently.
Yeah, I haven't had mine
Spider-Man
for a
was the-
year yet.
Spider-Man was the first game I noticed that with. Holy crap.
Have I had it for you yet? I might have. Anyway, yeah, but that's kind of all the details at this point. Oh, and they announced the 2020 holiday launch window.
I said that.
Duh.
You did that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't listen to you.
I mean,
But
we all knew that already.
yeah, that was
anyways.
like, but it's like,
unwritten.
yeah, it was like, it was the same
Buying
thing.
5 of them.
It was It was,
I'm a Dwight Schrute Christmas.
but it was the same thing as like the announcing it was called the PlayStation 5. Like, all right, now we know that.
Yeah.
Like now it is cemented in stone.
Everyone was already calling it PlayStation 5. You might as well
I
just
know.
go with it.
And like between that and the holidays, it's like, all right, now we knew, but now we know.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
that's nice. It didn't sway any opinions for me yet.
I mean, I think
Here's my opinion. It's swayed. I'm getting it holiday 2020.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is like, I think all those rumors about it potentially being like a reveal event coming February are seeing more and more realistic.
Oh, in
now.
February having a reveal
in February
event.
having
Okay.
the reveal event. Yeah. And then, that's when they're actually going to show off some games and the actual system and
Yeah.
everything. Because they're just doing these articles, like get the information out right now. And I'm curious to think how Microsoft thinks about how they're handling this. Like, I'm just kind of curious because like Microsoft too, obviously they're going to have like kind of like how they did with the Xbox One. They're going to have some kind of event for this.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to wait till E3. I think they will have some
I don't
kind of
think they
event. Because I mean that was the thing with if you remember back in the Xbox 360, that's what they did. They revealed it at E3 and released it in November.
Right.
Like, that was crazy. Like, everyone was like, wait, what? But they did the same thing with the Project Scorpio. They teased it, but then they finally showed it off but I think with this one, because it's the next gen, I think you're going to have to have an event for it as well. So I think Microsoft's trying to figure that out right now as well.
Microsoft needs to get out in front of this thing. Because I said this
Yeah.
about a year ago that I think the clearest path to the next console supremacy was Microsoft's, and I don't think it's as clear as it was a year ago. I have more questions, I think, on, and we talked about like Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is coming. They have all these new studios, but we still don't have any idea what that is yet.
Yeah.
So I think Microsoft needs someone's just like, here's some information. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're all bored.
I know. Yeah.
Here's a blog post, a Wired article.
Listen,
have fun.
I know we did a state of play like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, that's
This and
right.
this. Here, just take it.
It's like, what's going on? So it's like Tuesday and Twitter.
I
I'm
mean-
like, I have to like validate what I'm reading on Twitter. Like, this is really happening.
I know.
It is really
I know.
happening.
And that's what I don't. And that's what.
But Microsoft needs to put some information out.
That's what I don't know. I'm just so confused with what Sony's doing with everything right now because like with these articles, just like here you go,
Yeah,
blah,
right.
blah, blah. But then you have your state of plays that you're starting to kind of get going, and you want people to get involved with and enjoy. Well, why aren't you doing something like this during those?
Like, you don't want to bury the lead, which was Last of Us Part 2.
But
like Nintendo, because like look at Nintendo. Like Nintendo does this, like, or they have a direct for just the system things. Like I believe the Lite, like it was a video. I don't even think the Lite had a direct. Actually, it was a video that just dropped one morning. It was like, here's a video.
You're
blah.
right. Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And I guess I understand.
What
that's
would
a
this
little
video
different.
have been?
But like I don't know, just something.
It would have been a 3-second video that said PlayStation 5 Holiday 2020.
I mean, I don't think I have anything to
You don't even
show
put a video out
yet.
for that. You just put a GIF out.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like this would have been a good thing to like just shove in though in the state of play though, like something like
It's
that.
weird. I mean, it's weird they shit like a year. Like
I don't
they could have
know.
been like, yeah, they could begin like, hey, listen, we got nothing hold on to talk about right now, but we're going to announce today that our next console is the PlayStation 5 and it's going to be on holiday 2020. More details to follow, and then like a week later, or 2 weeks
I was
later,
gonna say-
do the Wired article.
Right, you
and the
could have
blog
done like a
post and things
20-second like animation tease, or you know what I mean, like come up with like a 20 to 30-second animation thing
Something.
that teasing like more info coming soon, or
Right.
stay tuned to this date or something, like just something like because I mean those state of plays, like they have one big thing usually, but then a whole bunch of like filler
Stuff.
garbage, like we're like when you watch it like a Nintendo Direct, you're like, okay, there's gonna be at least 3 to 4 good things coming out of this, and
When you watch a Nintendo Direct,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
3 or 4 good things
well,
coming out of it.
out of a lot of, but for a lot of Nintendo fans, I mean, they
Luigi
just
Mansion
kind
3 doesn't do it for you.
50 different JRPGs doesn't do it for me.
But I mean, you that's what you kind of
3 hours of Super Smash Brothers doesn't do it for me.
that's what you kind of figure though. Like you know what you're kind of getting into with the Nintendo Directs, where state of plays are. People are still
This is new.
figuring
Yeah,
that
yeah,
out. They're
I
still
agree.
Figuring that out, and I just think like something like that, yeah, like a quick 20 to 30 second tease, like a little
Yeah.
animation, like a PS5 animation thing. Like that was like there. You could have just revealed it then, and then
Holiday 2020.
That's
More
all you had
details to
say.
follow.
Right.
Yeah, no, I totally do agree with that, and that would have been like a oh shit moment on top of the oh shit moment of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You do that before you do that right before The Last of Us kind of thing. Yeah.
So yeah, but like I was saying, I think Microsoft needs to put. I mean, they put some of the spec information out and things like that, but I think they need something. Just give us something about what. I mean, it's been it's been a year and a half since they've
Isn't there
acquired those
XO19
studios.
coming up soon?
Yes.
Yeah, but those XOs, man, like I don't know, like they seem like they feel like they hype it up like it's going to be like this giant big event, and then like you get a couple things
Sea
out
of
it,
Thieves
they're like,
update and
oh,
Cloud.
okay, that's pretty
Like-
cool. Or okay,
Yeah.
How long have they been doing
awesome.
those events? The XOs.
2-3 years now, I want to
And
say.
so they haven't gone through a new hardware
think-
generation while they've been doing these.
No, it's been this whole. No, they haven't. But they hype it up like it's
Yeah.
gonna be something huge. And like the last time, the biggest thing was like, oh, here's 17 new Xbox Game Pass games. Which don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll take 17 more games.
Absolutely, that's great.
Mike's loving Game Pass.
But-
right
I'm
now.
loving
but
Game Pass.
Honestly, out of those 17 games, 4 of them were big things. Like you know what I mean. The rest were just like whatever kind of titles. So like, but that was like okay, yeah, this is cool and this is neat, but like that's not like the big thing we're looking for. Like we're talking like a big thing. You're giving me like Fable 4, not even giving it to me. You're teasing even.
But like this could be a time where they could take some of the spotlight, like you said, if they just. It's been over a year since they've acquired those studios. That was not this year; it was last year. E3, where they bought those studios.
It's like kid treats teachers.
Yeeks. Anyway, so it's been a year and a half at least minimum in development. I mean, for some of these games, like they could get out in front of being like, you know, we're talking next gen. These are the first next gen games that we can show you in some way, shape, or form. Whether it just be a title for Fable 4 or showing us like a prototype specs of what the next Forza game is going to look like on the next generation. Just something, just to kind of be like, if they can be first to games, that would be huge for Microsoft because everyone's talking, you know, spec minutia at this point, which is also exciting.
I love spec minutia.
You love spec. That's your gamer tag, right? Spec
Yeah.
minutia. That's who you are. And how you know online.
should be.
Yeah.
Between the Digital Foundry videos and Wired articles, I'm loving this.
So like, I'm not saying I don't love it, but what I'm saying is we like that.
Tell me
kind
about
of,
all your flops.
we like that kind of stuff. Like people who are kind of ingrained in it. But like, if you want to make a splash on someone who may not be entrenched in listening to podcasts and checking websites out and things like that, like show something that's going to be like that. Being first to games would be the exact opposite message that they had for the Xbox One, which was NFL streaming, TV, NFL, Call of Duty, Madden. It was like that old sizzle reel that was just
this
a
is
mess.
This is your home media center, and it plays games.
No,
that was so bad.
But they could. I mean, they have been really. They've been moving this luxury cruise ship for years now into the right direction. That would be, I think, propelling it forward into the next generation by just being first to games.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, that's because like, we know about Halo Infinite, but we got that CG
that we already
which doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and we already knew that game was coming from the previous year.
For that one, you should be able to give us gameplay now because that's supposed to be a launch title. You should have gameplay ready for that, like at least a quick little something to show us, and then. We all know Forza is going to be a launch title because they're skipping this year, so we know Forza is going to be a launch title.
100%.
So start showing off that because that is always a tech like everything on launch day.
And it's a classic like launch game.
Exactly.
Too.
And then you like you said, then you announce that one more big game, which it's the worst kept secret. We all know Fable 4 is coming.
I sure hope
it's
so.
coming.
I sure hope so.
So this is the time to again. You can even give me that like that 20 to 25 second tease that EA gave Dragon Age fans. Recently, where it was nothing, but everyone knew it was Dragon Age, and everyone went batshit crazy. That you could do the exact same thing for Fable, and people go nuts.
And they can start doing that thing too, where it's just like so many people think that you can only play. What's a good example? Like Destiny was like a PlayStation 4 game because they have all those exclusive whatever it is. Like 3 weeks ago now. 3 weeks ago now, Rocksteady put up that like GIF of like that white emblem that keeps changing,
the white
which
owl.
looks like the Court of Owls
Yeah,
thing
the
for the new
Court of Owls,
Batman game.
Yeah.
Did they still haven't said anything
Nothing.
yet about it?
Nothing.
But
Have you seen Shinobi tweeting at him like every couple days?
Oh yeah.
it's great, and I totally endorse harassing them until they
It's
get
just
some
like
Everyone should
information.
harass
every
them.
couple
Oh
days
my
it pops up and I laugh.
So
Everyone
like,
should harass them.
so like, and like, if they can put out like, if they can show that game, like it's a next generation game, it's going to be, you know, you didn't even say like launch window, whatever it is. They can start like getting the mind share of like the Arkham games and
Yep.
Xbox, like having some kind of like partnership.
Yep.
Like,
Something. Just let's do this.
I mean, we're talking about things that we don't know anything about in terms of like we don't know
Nope.
if Fable 4 exists.
No.
That Batman game may not even exist. I'm sure we're you know, we think it does. Forza, they're going to keep going with that because it's a cash
Forza-
cow. That's
okay.
going to happen at some point.
Forza and Halo are the only 100%.
So I'm not just saying like we need these specific games, but if they can,
But you kind of do, because like all those new studios they brought on, if they're creating new IPs, is a new IP really going to move the needle that much?
I think it depends. I think it also depends on. I mean,
you
'cause-
said there, you know, untitled game from whichever studio, pick one. So we got Horizon Zero Dawn too.
right. But I'm saying, but they have some games. Some of these studios that they bought have some pretty significant legacies, and they're probably not going to continue those legacies.
Well,
They might make Hellblade 2.
Well, sure. See, for me, I'm thinking this is the time to bring back Ninja Gaiden. And I mean,
They
that
very
would be
well could.
huge. That would
Right.
be huge. You bring back Ryu, and I mean, you just flash him on the screen, people will go crazy. And like that's an Xbox exclusive now.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
There are something. I mean, there are some of the companies that they have can bring back big hitters like that would get massive points in the gaming community.
And I think that's where you start with some of these developers. Like some of these developers, something new, but I think that's where you start with some of these, like Team Ninja, like giving us Ninja Gaiden 4 or just whatever you call it. Like that is the way to kick things off as your partnership with Xbox. That's the way to do it for someone who has a massive legacy like that.
And a legacy with Xbox too, because
Right.
I mean was 3 in the original Xbox.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden Black.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
And I mean and then that was like where it was best, was on that console, and like where a lot of people equate Ninja
And then
Gaiden, newer version
yep.
of Ninja Gaiden.
And then
with
Ninja Gaiden
Microsoft.
2 was first on Xbox 360,
Right.
and then eventually Sigma and Sigma 2 came out for PS3 and Vita.
So I mean, they have these studios that are doing something,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming they're making things that are important.
Yeah.
Because I have no reason not to. You know.
Agreed.
So I don't know. Give us a taste. Let us know. Let us know what we're going to be. You know.
Oh, I'm ready for this next gen.
Me too. I'm super
ready.
excited.
I'm
I was
excited.
I was thinking about that in the last couple of days. Just like it's gonna be fun. Like I said, I don't know how it's gonna shake out, but
I still don't know which one I want.
it's an exciting time. I mean, it's an exciting time for us as the gamers. Just like there's so
Absolutely.
much
I'm-
new stuff. What?
They really need to expand the PC offerings for Game Pass, because when the next gen comes out, I really just want to get one system.
They're working on it. They've been adding more stuff lately to the PC
It's still in beta.
without saying
It's still in
much.
beta too.
It
Technically,
It is technically for beta
Still don't
PC.
have Doom on there.
No, there's still not. Yeah, there's still not a lot on there. They're getting there though.
All right. All news.
I was done with the news a while ago, man.
Well, that's also all the show we got.
Hey, that's fine.
It was plenty. I rambled.
We had over an hour. I didn't
Yeah, no, we still had a ramble. I rambled on what you're playing. I gushed over Blair Witch, and then
Mike did what he does best. He rambles.
it's my forte. Maybe we should do best dogs in the games. Maybe not a definitive list, but just bring up dogs. I can think of at least 3 right now I can put on a list. I'm declaring it. Next episode, we're doing best dogs in games. But yeah, so I mean that's all. We don't have a special topic this one. We thought it was gonna be a shorty, ended up being a normally. But yeah, just like we said at the beginning of the show, go check out Steak's review of Little Town Hero. Also on the we have more audio people than video people, so just go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SticksGamingVids, and check that out. And next time we will be talking about good dogs in video games. Definitive list.
Woof.
Indeed. See you next time, Stickheads.